This overhead diagram shows the standard European army formation of the 16th century, a massive infantry square known as a tercio. These deep blocks acted as lumbering fortresses, bristling with pikes, designed to march forward and repel cavalry charges. But look at the geometry here. Thousands of men are trapped in the center. Only the outermost edges can safely fire their weapons without hitting their own side, leaving the vast majority of the formation's firepower physically trapped behind the front ranks. The physical, blocky shape of these armies was a direct concession to the limitations of early firearm technology. To understand why generals grouped their soldiers like this, we have to zoom in on the individual musketeer. Loading an early musket required a clumsy series of manual steps: eyeballing loose gunpowder from a flask, fishing a lead ball from a pouch, pouring them down the barrel, and ramming it all down with a wooden rod. This fumbling, error-prone sequence took a minimum of 3 to 4 minutes per shot. Because reloading took so long, armies had to stack their soldiers up to 10 ranks deep. The front row would fire, then immediately step to the back of the block to reload, trading physical depth to buy time. In 1630, Sweden's king Gustavus Adolphus entered the brutal 30 Years' War. Severely outnumbered by imperial forces, he needed a mechanical advantage to survive. He began standardizing musket calibers across his army, eliminating the logistical chaos of mismatched ammunition. That standardization allowed him to introduce this: a pre-packaged paper cartridge containing an exact mathematically measured grain of powder and one perfectly sized lead ball. The reloading process collapsed into a single smooth motion. A soldier bit the top off the paper, poured the pre-measured contents down the barrel, and rammed the paper itself in as wadding. Reload times plummeted from over 3 minutes down to just 30 to 45 seconds. By packaging the powder in a paper tube, Gustavus removed manual chemical measurements from the battlefield. He turned reloading into a predictable, industrial routine. This diagram compares the 10-rank square with the new Swedish formation. Because musketeers fired faster, the deep square physically unspooled, flattening horizontally into a thinner, 3-rank deep line. These ranks fired simultaneously, the Swedish salvo, creating an unbroken wall of lead. A simple packaging invention allowed the Swedish army to stretch its front outward, easily outflanking enemies while bringing almost all its firepower to bear at the exact same instant. The ultimate stress test for this geometric system arrived on November 16, 1632, at the Battle of Lützen, across a field choked by dense fog. In the chaos of a cavalry charge, King Gustavus was separated from his bodyguard and shot dead. Historically, an army losing its king would immediately panic and rout. The Swedish infantry, however, held their ground. The thinner Swedish lines maintained their clockwork reloading, systematically chewing through the deep, slower-firing imperial formations with relentless volleys. The paper cartridge stripped away the reliance on a single charismatic leader, turning rapid fire into a rigid, self-sustaining routine. The tactical geometry proven at Lützen immediately became the permanent blueprint for all European warfare. By the end of the 17th century, one final technological evolution locked this linear system into place: the socket bayonet. Because this blade slid over the outside of the barrel, a musket could actually be fired with the bayonet attached. Every musketeer doubled as a spearman, completely eliminating the need for pikemen. A tiny logistical shift, a pre-measured paper tube, dismantled the massive lumbering squares of antiquity. In their place came the thin, wide, rapid-fire lines that would dominate global battlefields for the next 300 years.